Okay, Shalom Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rikakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. You know, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm gonna do a lesson on this video I just seen, debunking the most common myths white people tell about race. And I was watching a brother, Gabari Howard, GMS Hawaii, and he's doing a video on how this Edomite, which is a so-called white woman, how she's crying because people are calling her a cracker, and Esau's run to is they like to say that, oh, I'm Native American, I'm part Cherokee, which is an offense to our brethren, because the Israelites are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. So it's an offense to our brethren that these Edomites, they like to run and hide using. They like to run and hide. They like to run and Salakia. They like to run and hide using the nationality that they have taken down. Okay, now here you have this lady, Robin DiAngelo, which I was looking her up, and it says, Robin DiAngelo is an American academic lecturer and author working in the fields of critical discourse analysis and whiteness studies. She formerly served as a tenured professor of multicultural education at Westfield State University. She is known for her work pertaining to white fragility. You go into that, it basically means white privilege, a term which she coined in 2011. Okay, so without further ado,
to be white in so many ways is to be raised to be functionally illiterate on the topic of race. I am white, and part of being white is that I was not raised to see myself in racial terms. I mean, I understood that somebody had race, but not really me. To be white is to see oneself outside of race, to see oneself as a unique, special individual, exempt from the forces of socialization.
And just real quick, when the topic of race does come up, as she just said, you notice how Esau is he thinks himself over race, like what she said, her being a so-called white lady, or a Caucasian, better known as a Caucasian, as the world knows them as. All right, what it is that in their household, when they grow up, they're seen as over everybody, whether it's spoken or not, whether it's spoken or not, they know, what I'm saying, that when they go get that job and they go against let's say a so-called minority, a so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, that they're automatically going to get the better position, and that term is actually known as a narcissist, which Esau is a narcissist. Okay, so Salakia, I was looking up the traits of a pathological liar, because that's also what Esau is, man, a pathological liar, like I said. And a brother, GMS Gabari Howard, that's what led me to look up a video, with this topic, and going to show you how Esau is a pathological liar. And another word for a pathological liar, this is right here. It is Salakia. What are the traits of a pathological liar? It is a standalone disorder, as well as a symptom of other disorders, such as psychopathy and antisocial narcissist, which a narcissist is a person who thinks himself over another group of people. And histrionic personality disorders. But people who are pathological liars may not possess characteristics of the other orders. Now, after I read that, I looked up narcissist. It says narcissistic personality disorder. So that's a disorder. You know? Esau's personality is a disorder. How he's pompous. Alright? And that's the crazy part, how us, here at Great Millstone and the brothers that follow, we are not afraid to address the elephant in the room, as a brother in the camp always says, man, which is Esau. Because he's an issue, man. And here it is, he pushes, himself to be superior over so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But then when we call him out on it, we're the racists. So it says, it is rare, which that's a lie. Treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. Requires a medical diagnosis, lab test, or imaging not required. Alright? Which for Esau, yeah. For Esau, you go to Esau's, this is what Esau put, man. Treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. So Esau is a natural born asshole, man. We're just gonna call it like it is, man. He's a natural born asshole. Alright? Thinking that he's over you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Which he's not. He's under you. Okay? Now, people may watch this video and say, well, wouldn't that make me a narcissist? No, man, because according to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, we are a peculiar people unto the rest of the nations, man. Alright? But talking about Esau, alright, Esau's a narcissist, and he has a disorder thinking that he's over us, man. Alright? Thinking that he's better than us. The scriptures say, alright, which for those of you that believe in the Bible, Deuteronomy 7:6, I have made thee a special people, a peculiar people like unto myself. Okay? So we are better than Esau, Edom, man. Alright, but let's go back to this video and analyze this author, Robin DiAngelo, what he has to say.
I'll never forget a moment of standing beside a black man leading a workshop on race, and a white woman said to him, I don't see color. He said, well, then how are you going to see racism? Because I am black. I do think you know that, and I have a different experience than you do. And you're not going to be able to understand that, and you're not going to be able to support the parts of that experience that are really painful and problematic if you refuse to acknowledge my reality. I don't see color is really a way of saying I refuse to acknowledge your reality.
Exactly. Because Esau, alright, the heads thereof, the elites of this world, they paint that picture of us being black, man. They paint that picture because when you look up the definition of black, is a person void of light, void of understanding. Alright? Otherwise known as evil. Alright? Lord willing, I'll do a lesson on that because even in Rome, how we know this place is modern day Rome, because Esau would characterize a black person, alright, as stupid, dull, never amounting to anything. Even though in ancient Rome, our people, we basically ran that society, man. They were slaves, of course, but they ran that society, man. They were chefs, they were cooks, they were all of this, man. So, and then that's the crazy part. These devils, they call us black. When they talk about a so-called African American, they'll say that black guy, that black man. But then again, they say they don't see color. Alright? Because deep inside, they know, alright, that when you call somebody black, it represents a negative connotation, man. Okay? So like she said, a person that says they don't see color means they refuse to acknowledge reality, man. Alright? They refuse to acknowledge the reality, man. Which, like we say, it always goes back to the scriptures. How Jacob and Esau was fighting in Rebekah's womb. All right, so it's always going to be that clash between one another, man.
What's important about that narrative is it reveals what the person thinks racism is. I do think you know that, and I have a different experience than you do, and you're not going to be able to understand that, and you're not going to be able to support the parts of that experience that are really painful and problematic if you refuse to acknowledge my reality. I don't see color as really a way of saying I refuse to acknowledge your reality. What's important about that narrative is it reveals what the person thinks racism is. So if the person is using proximity, fondness across race as evidence of a lack of racism, in order for that to be good evidence, a racist must not be able to do that. So that rests on an understanding that a racist cannot tolerate proximity to people of color. And I'm hoping...
Right, so what that basically means, proximity fondness, is when you confront a white person and tell them that they're racist, they'll tell you, no, I got black friends. Or no, my dad's girlfriend is black. You know? So Esau likes to push that narrative, man. Of you use a person that, this guy might even be an associate, your neighbor that you're forced to deal with. You'll call this guy, you know, being a pathological liar that he is, you'll say, oh, I got black friends. You know?
Now, we can see that's pretty absurd because, trust me, even avowed racists can tolerate being around people of color.
Exactly. All right? So you can't even use that excuse, man. She just said it herself. All right? The author, the person who studies white people, man. Her own people.
And often are. You cannot talk about any other issue without talking about how race informs that issue. And when someone says it's about class, that tends to function as a way to get race off the table. First of all, we're already divided by race. And focusing on race is not what did it. I would say not focusing on race, refusing to grapple with how race shapes virtually everything is what keeps us divided. And that is a very white narrative. All of those narratives function to get race off the table, close the exploration, exempt the person.
Right, because now when you talk about race, you got to talk about all the bullshit that Esau has done to Jacob, man. Well, like I said, Esau's the so-called white man, and Jacob is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, that's why, like when you go back into the path, Esau and his narcissism, his pathological lying, what do you like to say? Oh, I'm part Indian, you know, because now he can identify or classify himself with the brutality that Esau has put on our people, man. You know, so now we gotta feel sorry for him. Get the fuck out of here.
From any further engagement and protect the racial hierarchy and the white position with it, which is an unequal hierarchy. The challenge I want to offer my fellow white people is changing the question from if to how. So dominant culture asks if I'm racist. And I want to change that question to how have I been shaped by the forces of racism? How is racism manifesting in my life? Because it circulates 24/7, 365. None of us can be and none of us were exempt from its forces. And this is where individualism can come in. I have a particular story, but that story didn't exempt me. And so I can ask myself, how did all the things I see as unique about me set me up into the overall racist structure? Because it did.
All right. So, this is... See, I'm going to get Psalms chapter 73 first. Let me see. Psalms chapter 73 verse 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Slack it. 1 second, Aki. Starting over again, Psalm 73 and 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. White privilege. They are not plagued as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. You know, and Esau knows that, man. Esau knows he has that white privilege, man. So like I said, in order to negate that, they like to push the narrative of where, oh, my great grandfather was Blackfoot Indian. No, man. You're the devil. You're Edomite. You're the so-called white man. You know, like I have this devil on my job. This nigga claims he's American Indian, man. Which you see through the spirit, how this guy is he's a straight up Caucasian. He's a straight up cave dweller, man. But he likes to say, oh, I'm Native American Indian. Which to us brothers in the know, that's offensive, man. Alright? And even Jake's on the job, you know, they laugh and joke with him. But it's like, bro, we know you lying. You know? We know you lying. You a fucking Edomite. You a fucking white man. You're not a Indian. Alright? There's no types of Indian in you, man. You know? You like to say they mom because what? 9 times out of 10, alright, they a descendant of theirs, you know, most likely raped, robbed, and pillaged, alright, Israelite village, man, raped a woman. You know? So it says, which we understand, alright, that the lineage goes off the father, not the mother anyway. Alright, but you know, going back it says, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. They're not known as minorities. They're not known as they're known as white, man, which the word white means pure. Alright? They don't have a bad stigma on them, even though they do the most fucked up things. Okay? You know? Here it is, you would send somebody to jail for being a thief, for robbing and killing. But that's all Esau did, man. The brother in the camp, he wears a shirt with Native Americans, or so-called Native Americans, which are the Gadites. And it says that, you know, fighting terrorism since 1492, when this guy Cristobal Colon came on the scene. Okay, so it says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. You know? So because of their pompous attitude, because this is how they see it, you know, this is my world. You know? This is how Esau sees it, man. As this being his world. You know? Narcissism. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish for. You know? So this is their world, man. They know it. Okay? It says they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Oh, Salakia, I skipped verse 8, Salakia. I'm going to start back at 7. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You know? So here it is. You know, instead of, you know, saying to a Jake, you know, well, I understand your pain or whatever, you know, they like to negate the fact. They like to push it as to where they're the victim, man. You know? This is let's see. Psalms chapter 50. Verse 16. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Alright? Because only Israel, alright, received the law, statutes, and commandments. Only Israel had to go through the curses written of in Deuteronomy 28. Only Israel. as it is written of in Psalms 147 and 19. You know? It says, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Okay? So this is Esau's MO, man. You know? Say, like I said, you say that I don't see color, because now you have to address the elephant in the room. You know? Or you may say that I'm a Native American Indian, man. Alright? Or I have black friends. You know? All bullshit, man. You know, but hey, that was it, man. Just doing a little commentary on this video. I thought it was edifying through the spirit. Lord willing, I'm gonna try to put it in the description box for you brothers to do you know, videos of your own. Shalom to the elect.